This might sound weird, but have you ever tried to pet a cat on its belly? Well, if you have, then you should probably know what happens next, right? It's either you get scratched, bitten, or both. But the reason that they do this is to protect themselves, and their underbellies are very fragile. And the same can be said for our retail sector. The prediction for retailers is so bad that thousands of stores in the country are expected to close within a few years. How many in total? Oh, nothing. Just over 50,000 of them. Yeah, guys, this does not sound good. Do you guys remember that paper from the World Health Organization that gives them the power over all governments? Oh yeah, that was a fun one that we talked about, huh? Yeah, so amendments to it now say that they don't have to wait for a pandemic for their awesome powers to be able to kick in. If approved, the WHO will have free reign over the world whenever they decide it. You know, I've talked to some of my friends about this topic, and the response has been different each time. Now, some eyes widened, some gave me a look like I was crazy, while others just flat out ignored me. But I guess that's the price of holding the truth, right? Because with this case, the truth is stranger than fiction. Do you support handing our rights to these people? Comment a quick yes or no on that one. Now, here's something that's worth noting, and it's the effect of pushing back on those at the very top that sometimes discourages them from pushing through with their plans, or at the very least punishes them for doing something that we're not fond of. Now I have two instances, one from Fox News and the other one with the richest man in the world, Bernard Arnault. Now who knew that coming together as a community of like-minded people could cause such change, right? Let's not waste any more time, guys. Let's jump right into the facts. Also, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below in the description of this video. Now before I begin with this first topic, I just want to share that this information is readily available on the internet. This is stuff that you can find online and stuff that the World Health Organization is not hiding because maybe they feel like nobody cares. Well, guess what? I care. And I know a lot of you care about this, so let's go ahead and dissect this thing, shall we? So these are the proposed amendments to the international health regulations, or in other words, give full control to the WHO. The language in this paper was already sketchy before, but you got to see the edits to really appreciate how much of a power grab this entire thing is. It's like they want to govern the entire world in their palms, and they want little to no possible resistance if we were to go by their rules. So check this out. It says here that a strike-through is a proposal to delete existing text, so it's a permanent change to what they want in this thing. Any new proposals will be written in bold and underlined. Well then, it's a good thing they took out the term non-binding here. It really drives the point home that it's either their way or the highway, right? Now I know it clearly reads advice after it, but imagine being in school and you receive an advice from your professor to make amendments to your paper. Is that a suggestion? No, I don't think so. It's also quite humorous that they would call it a standing and temporary recommendation when it's clear that they're setting a precedent to having whatever they say be the last say. Why do I say this? Remember when we all had a say during the health crisis? Oh wait, many of us didn't even have a choice. There were countries that had to abide by a single narrative. There were others who were given two choices: lose your job or follow the rules. This pretty much threw our rights right out the window, and this agreement isn't that much different. Check this out. Quote, the implementation of these regulations shall be with full respect for the dignity, human rights, and fundamental freedoms of persons, end quote. And as you can see, they saw respect for our dignity, human rights, and freedom and said, nah, these people, they don't deserve that. And the amended writing is much more vague compared to the initial one where we had our rights. The question is, are there limits set for their power? Now, I guess they do to some extent since there is a hierarchy within their system, but since they're unelected leaders, you and I won't have much say if this thing actually pushes through. If and when they do mess up, will anyone be held accountable? I mean, that's a fair question to ask, right? Is accountability such a foreign term for these people? Now, I'm trying my best by sharing this information with you guys, but I did read about Representative Chris Smith planning to have a congressional hearing about the World Health Organization's plans. Now, according to Smith, quote, the American people have a right to know exactly what the Biden administration is negotiating at the WHO, especially as the president remains silent and fails to reassure us that he will protect our Constitution from bureaucrats at this troubled United Nations body, end quote. Now, there's a lot to cover with this paper, but I don't want to make this into like an hour-long video, so by all means, just go ahead and check out the amendments for yourself, and you guys are going to see exactly that this not only affects the United States, it's an agreement that could take over the entire world. Now, I will bet that Bill Gates would love for this to be approved by next year, but would a pushback make enough difference? If there was enough people criticizing this thing, yes, it would. Let me give you a real-world example. Remember when Fox took out Tucker Carlson? The people spoke, and now their viewers have decreased by at least 1 million people.
After it was announced that Fox News and its most-watched host, Carlson, agreed to part ways on Monday morning, the network's 8 p.m. hour had a significantly smaller audience Monday night. Brian Kilmeade was the first in a series of rotating TV personalities to host Fox News Tonight on Monday evening. The program pulled in just under 2.6 million viewers, about 21% below the average for Tucker Carlson Tonight over the past 8 Mondays of 3.3 million viewers.
And Fox is now in too deep to take this back because they've already burned bridges with Tucker Carlson. So basically, they've screwed themselves. Well, you might say that we're talking about rich and powerful unelected leaders, but if the world's richest man, Bernard Arnault, had to give up on his plan to build a luxury hotel in Rodeo Drive after locals voted it down, then what's saying that we can't stand up for what we think is right? It's amazing what can be done when people come together for a common cause. I mean, this guy's worth what? Almost $200 billion? So here's what I urge for you guys to do. If you're as worried as I am about all of these different changes that unelected leaders want to implement in our lives, I suggest that you either spread the word about it or just go ahead and share this video so that more and more people can be aware of what is happening all around us. Now, speaking of what's really happening, Michael Lazar, a retail analyst from UBS, he reported that they're expecting more than 50,000 retail stores to close in our country from now until 2027. This isn't just for big stores, it's also bad news for small businesses that will have an even tougher time borrowing from banks as credit continues to tighten.
For some businesses on Main Street, the credit crunch is getting real. While capital is still available, getting it is increasingly difficult. Mitchell Sellers runs Iowa Computer Gurus and has been in business for 17 years.
It is tightening where banks are asking more questions and it's becoming harder for us to get loans. But I also believe that business development is being stifled because of the interest rate raises. So we aren't expanding in ways that I would want to because I have to pay 6.5% interest on a loan that a year ago I would have paid 3% on.
Now, this does not bode well for our economy, with some experts calling the retail sector the soft underbelly of our economy. And, well, they're right. Now, we've seen many stores close this year, and I mean, if Walmart and Target, Bed Bath & Beyond are closing stores, closing down locations, what more is it doing to smaller chains and mom and pop shops, huh? And here's the thing. There's so much going on within society that we don't even know what to focus on. It's like everything that's coming out in mainstream media is a distraction to keep us away from the ugly truth and what's really going on. So what's that truth? Well, the truth is people are running out of expendable cash. We're running out of savings, out of credit, of government benefits. Everything is drying up, folks, and there's not much many of us can do about it. But again, I want you guys to take part in the conversation, so definitely please let your voices be heard down in the comment section down below. So what are you guys' thoughts on today's updates, and what are your plans for the future? How are you going to protect your family? Now, there's nothing quite as scary as facing tomorrow without a plan. I mean, let alone the next few months, right? Now, I understand that this hustle is not for everybody, but if I know my community, I also know that many of you are hardworking Americans. Now, if you want to learn how to improve your cash flow from the comfort of your own home, then please, by all means, drop me some comments in the description down below or in the comment section down below. We can talk about investments in real estate, the stock market, investments in precious metals like gold and silver, even investments in yourself if you decide to dabble with side hustles, home-based businesses, small businesses, which are ultimately capable of giving you multiple streams of income. Now, of course, the first step has to come from you guys, so feel free to drop me a comment down below. By the way, you should see a video above my head here and here. Definitely click on those videos and check those out. But before I go, guys, please don't forget to drop a huge like to the video, share this video with everyone you know, and subscribe for your daily dose of the truth. I appreciate the love from you guys, and I will see you guys on the next one.